Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about load management in the NHL. The reason this came up is you can see this tweet on my right here is Pierre LeBrun saying that both sides are targeting January 13th to get a 56 game schedule in. And really where the issue lies here is time frame. If we're starting a 56 game season on January 13th, when is that season going to end? And how many games are teams going to be playing back to back, basically. So because of that, TSN 1040 Vancouver put out a poll question this morning. Just with the NHL expected to play a condensed schedule, should the Canucks practice load management? I don't really want to be Canucks focused on this video too much, but just on the idea of load management in general. So what we've done is I went on to just hockeyreference.com here, and we're just looking at the Canucks 2017-2018 schedule. So a couple years ago, 2018-19, same story. In this season, you can see that right here is sort of where it goes, where we cross that January 13th threshold. So let's say if a team plays their first game on the 14th, and you're trying to end the season by, in this case, April 7th, then you're looking at 48 games that would normally be played from that time to April 7th. And of course, they might extend that a little. Maybe it'll be to the end of April. But let's just sort of assume we're looking at April 10th to make the math easy, which is about 90 days from January 13th. So normally what that would do is you would have 46 games in 90 days. So basically a game every other day throughout that whole time. Obviously, there's going to be some back-to-backs. There's going to be some 2-day breaks normally. In this, I don't think there's going to be many 2-day breaks this year. So what we're basically doing if we're doing a 56 game season is we're adding in 10 days or 10 games in 90 days. So it's an extra game every 9 days for most teams. So it's almost every week you're having a back to back. So if you think about it, if you play every other day, some weeks you'll have 4 games, some weeks you'll have 3 games. Basically every week you're going to have 4 games. And so that would basically be like you play Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then like maybe Sunday, Tuesday, like you're gonna have a back to back every week, almost guaranteed, for almost every team. So why that? So that's causing a conversation that TSN's put out here, saying should they practice load management? And they say down here that they're asking because apparently the NBA is relaxing its resting policy. Um, so the question is, should they? First off, I don't think any team's really going to be practicing load management. I think hockey has too much pride to do stuff like that. They're like, oh, it's a toughness game. You got to play every game, all this stuff. Um, and the other part of it is it's a 56 game season, right? Every game matters more than normal, right? If you're only playing 56 games instead of 82 games, every game is at 1.5 times more valuable, pretty much than your games are normally. So, what that brings me to is the NHL standings. This is from last year, so we're looking at obviously not a full season. But what I really wanted to do here is focus on a Canadian division. If there was a Canadian division, it would be 7 Canadian teams, which is obviously what's going to happen if they are able to start the season. And these teams are going to be tight. Like, let's take a look here. If we had those 7 Canadian teams, let's say 4 get in, right? Maybe I'm assuming that's what they do. 4, maybe 3 get in, or maybe 3 get in and then a wild card between all the divisions or something like that. Um, so let's look at our teams here. So in the Atlantic Division, we had Toronto, and we're just going to look at points percentage because that's just the easiest way to compare since all the games are different. 0.579. Montreal is at 500. Here's the thing. Montreal's going to be better this year, probably. I don't know if they're going to be better enough. I've seen some people, I think Thomas Durant's on Twitter put out that he has Montreal number 1 maybe this year, or something like that. That might be completely wrong, and I might just be slandering Thomas here, but they expect them to be a little bit better. Ottawa, obviously, we don't have to worry about. But when we get to the West, so remember, Toronto was at a 0.58, let's say. And then we look at the Pacific Division for the rest of the Canadian teams, or at least, okay, let's go Winnipeg here, 0.563. So a little worse, but that's 1 game, right? Like you get 1 more win and you're even there. And then you look at the Pacific Division. You look at the 3 Canadian teams in the Pacific Division. Edmonton at a 0.585, Vancouver at a 0.565, Calgary at a 0.564. right? So in these scenarios in a 56 game season, the difference between 0.565, 0.565 and 0.585 is literally one win, maybe two. So if you're going and saying, all right, well, we're not going to play, again, we'll go back to Vancouver, we're not going to play Pedersen for, maybe we're just trying to reduce his load a little bit, maybe 6 games. 6 games will take him out just to prevent him from getting burnt out. Well, that brings your win probability down probably a few percent in each of those 6 games, right? Let's say it's a 5% drop. I don't know if it's that severe, but it might be because you're taking your best player away, and you have that 5% drop. Multiply that over 6 games. That's now a 30% chance that you lose one of those games because of taking Pedersen out, and it's probably a guarantee that you're going to play worse in all those games, because you're replacing him with someone in the depths. Someone like Roussel is now getting into the lineup. So the thing is, it's kind of hard. You have to balance. Are you willing to take a player out for a game, right? Are you willing to say, it's February 7th. We're a month into the season. Maybe a team's played, 19 games already, and they say, we're gonna rest our players for this game. Maybe we're playing Ottawa. We're gonna rest our players, or some of our star players. And then you go out and you lose to Ottawa. Maybe it's a tight one. Maybe they beat you 4-3 or 2-1 or something like that, or it goes to overtime. Overtime will be less severe because you get a point anyways. But now the conversation is, oh well, if Pedersen and Horvat were playing, they probably win that one. They have 2 more points. And then what happens when you miss the playoffs by a point? Sure, maybe that's unfair because maybe your player, maybe Pedersen in this case, who's more well rested, will play better throughout the rest of the season. It's something you have to balance. It would be hard for a coach to say, yeah, we're not playing this guy, so that he'll be more well rested for next game and that he'll play better next game. But if you lose that game, even if he does play better next game, and maybe you win the next game because of it, that's not what people are going to be talking about. People are going to be saying, oh, well, you didn't play him that game and you lost, and now you missed the playoffs by, 2 points or a point or something like that. So that's just my thoughts. I don't think it will happen. I think, there might be the occasional, maybe more depth players will get rested. Injuries are going to be a problem. It's 56 games in a tight window in about 90 days. Unless they extend it, I think they'll probably go to like the end of April, which means you'd have an extra game maybe every 2 weeks instead. Um, yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. You can follow me on Twitter down here. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel and everything like that. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.